Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 4 college basketball games for Monday, January 23rd, 2023. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $15 Bank Shot best bet, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Monday in college basketball. First up, the biggest game on the board in the Big 12, it's going to be Kansas and Baylor. This one's going to be 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. We're not used to seeing these big games here on Monday in college hoops, but we have 2 ranked teams in Kansas and Baylor. Number 2 Kansas, number 21 Baylor, but Kansas is not going to be number 2 for long, and probably by the time you watch this video, the rankings will already have changed, as Kansas lost 2 straight games on Tuesday and Saturday to Kansas State and TCU. The most recent loss, a 23-point blowout loss to TCU on your home floor. And I know Kansas won its first 5 games of the Big 12 Conference, but the offense was kind of inconsistent in those games, not covering the spread in all of them, that's for sure, and not having any performance in those first 5 wins, scoring more than 80 points. So in this type of game, Baylor at the beginning of the season, the defense was really struggling. We saw in their losses to Virginia and Marquette where the defense was, really, it wasn't even there. I mean, they gave up 86 points to Virginia, 96 points to Marquette. But as we've seen Baylor go on this 4-game win streak in Big 12 play and have a lot more success, the defense has really stepped it up. They only gave up 58 points to Oklahoma State a couple games ago. They gave up 60 points last time out in a true road game against Oklahoma. Baylor's been able to force some more turnovers and be a little bit stronger on the defensive glass as well, which is really helping their overall defensive efficiency numbers. And, I do think when you just look at the shot quality numbers, Baylor has been forcing some pretty tough shots to their opponents. And I think Kansas, a team that's having some issues and inconsistencies shooting the basketball, I think it's going to hurt them in this game. I do think Kansas is still one of the better defensive teams in the country right now, top 20 in adjusted defensive efficiency, and they do like to slow things down on the defensive side. I think we're going to see a pretty low-scoring game. This total set way too high in my opinion. Give me the under in Kansas-Baylor. Next up, we go to the Mountain West Conference as New Mexico takes on Nevada. This one's going to be 9 o'clock Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Now, New Mexico's on a 4-game win streak after they lost their first 2 games of the season to Fresno State and UNLV. They now have won 4 straight against Oral Roberts, San Diego State, San Jose State, and Boise State. So some solid teams in that mix. 2 top 30 teams in KenPom, a solid mid-major win over Oral Roberts. And now you're going on the road here, though, against a very tough Nevada team that's on a, they've lost 2 of their last 3 games, but they are very tough to beat when they're playing at home. In fact, they haven't lost a home game all season. All 5 of their losses either at a true road game or a neutral site game, and in all 5 of those losses also against top 100 teams in KenPom. So Nevada's basically taking care of business at home. They've taken care of business against some of the better teams on their schedule. They've already beaten teams like Utah State and Boise State when they're playing at home. Good defensive team, takes care of the basketball, gets to the free throw line a ton, and is number 8 in the country in free throw percentage, shooting 79.4% from the charity stripe. So Nevada takes care of business at home, and New Mexico, I would say more so than most teams in college basketball, especially in the Mountain West. They're a team that I really like to back when they're playing in the pit, one of the best home court advantages in all of college hoops. But on the road, it's a little dicey, and I do think that this is a good spot for Nevada to get a bounce-back spot, get a bounce-back win after losing those 2 road games recently. I think we're going to see a good performance here from the Wolfpack, and I like the numbers I'm seeing from them really on both sides of the ball, especially when they're playing at home. So give me Nevada here. I'm going to lay the points with the Wolfpack. Next up, we go to one of my favorite conferences in college basketball. It's going to be the SWAC Conference as Texas Southern takes on Alabama State. This one's going to be 8:30 Eastern. Now, Texas Southern was dealing with a lot of injuries at the beginning of conference play, and we saw them lose their first 5 games in the SWAC to Southern, Grambling, Pine Bluff, Mississippi Valley State, and Alcorn State. But now, starting to get a little bit healthier. They get 2 big seniors back in the lineup in Jordan Carl Nicholas and P.J. Henry, and all of a sudden, Texas Southern's won their last 2 games, looking pretty good doing so, and last time out an 11-point road win over Alabama A&M. So I do think Texas Southern, if they can stay healthy, will still be one of the favorites to win this conference in the end. And although I am a pretty big fan of Alabama State's game as of late, they've won their last 2 games and 4 of their last 6. I just don't think this matchup benefits them. This is the worst shooting team in all college basketball when it comes to effective field goal percentage. And although they're much better at the free throw line, I don't think it's going to be enough in this game against such a good Texas Southern defense, especially when it's playing at full strength. Texas Southern's had some issues themselves offensively, but I do trust them a little bit more in this this game. Should be a low-scoring game, pretty close game for the most part, but in the end, I do expect Texas Southern to win this game and cover the number. I'm going to take Texas Southern in this one. I'm going to lay the points. And the final game we're going to talk about for Monday's card in college basketball, it's going to be in the MEAC Conference as Coppin State takes on Howard. This one's going to be 7:30 Eastern. Now, I still believe that Coppin State is the most volatile team of all of college basketball, as this is a team that doesn't rebound the ball very well, doesn't play much of defense, but they take a ton of three-pointers, and because of that, they have some pretty good shooters on the roster. We've seen them be able to pull off some big-time upsets already this season. Last year, this season, they beat James Madison, a top 100 KenPom team, in double overtime, 107-100. But because of that volatility, this is a team that can, beat some, big-name programs like we've seen this year, but can also lose a lot of blowout games, just like we saw last time out against Norfolk State, where it was a 96-65 game. And when I say they take a ton of three-pointers, I really mean it. When you look at the numbers last game, they shot 15 two-point field goals. They were 9 of 15, so 60% from two-point range, but they shot 39 three-pointers. They made 11 of them for 28.2%. Usually, if you make 11 three-pointers, you don't have that bad of a percentage, but when you shoot the ball 39 times from deep, you're going to expect something like that. So they were trying to get back into that game. They were down big early, 27-11 in the first 10 minutes. But still, this is a very volatile team that, like I said, can sometimes pull off these upsets. And you know what? Could they beat Howard outright in this game? Sure. But more often than not, they lose these games by blowout margins, double-digit margins, like you saw 96-65 last time out against Morgan State. It was 83-66. We saw against Rutgers 90-57, Richmond 83-65, George Mason 91-53. These are the lopsided numbers, and the defense is not good enough for me to want to back Coppin State in this game. I'm going to take Howard and lay the points. I think they win this game by a blowout margin more often than not. And that's it. Those are the games for Monday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.